Day 5 in the build-up to Christmas, Day 3 of our Formula 1 2019 driver reviews sees us tackle the mighty Italian himself, Antonio Giovinazzi. What a year it's been for the majority of Formula 1 fans, evolving from calling him Giovinazzi to Giovinazzi. It's been a tricky time in 2019, but we've slowly made it. Anyway, we're talking about his performances. That's the main thing we're talking about today. How good was his first rookie year in Formula 1? Of course, he did a couple of races back in 2017, the first 2 races of the season, taking the place of Pascal Wehrlein at Sauber. But this was his first proper chance in a Formula 1 car. And to be fair to Gio, those 2 races he did in 2017 weren't fantastic, but he didn't have a lot of preparation. So this was our first real opportunity to see how well he could handle a Formula 1 car. And at the midterm reports, at our summer break, it wasn't a glowing review, I think's a good way of putting it. He struggled in the early phases of the season, but you could see progress was slowly starting to kick in. Finally was picking up some points closer and closer to the summer, and I definitely think the second half of the season for Giovinazzi has gone so much better than that first half, really taking that fight to Kimi Räikkönen, whereas in the first half of 2019, Räikkönen really was that team leader, but where the team was struggling, seemed to have lost a little bit of pace in the second half of the year. Giovinazzi definitely really came out of his shell in, well, pretty much straight away from the gates in Belgium, right on the pace, almost picking up points, but a final lap crash cost him points there. Then his home race in Monza picked up points for the second time in his Formula 1 career. And of course, we cannot forget Singapore, where he led a Formula 1 Grand Prix, picking up points again there. And also a couple of races ago in Brazil, picking up a P5, his best ever career position in Formula 1. Actually better than Lando Norris's best ever race in Formula 1. There's a statistic which I'm sure a lot of you weren't expecting. But how was his season overall? Because I've given drivers so far, Verstappen a 9 out of 10, Hülkenberg a 7 out of 10. How does Giovinazzi compare? Second half of the year, okay, but the first half of the year, not too great. His statistics look a little bit like this. I mean, they're not super in detail statistics, but no wins, pole positions, podiums, none of that rubbish. 14 points overall, which is okay. 17th in the standings, which is okay. Best qualifying result, an 8th place. Well, actually, 2 8th places. He managed to secure that in Austria and in Baku. Best race, of course, that 5th place in Brazil, Sao Paulo, with Räikkönen in P4 on that particular day. Qualifying battle, 12-9 in favour of Kimi Räikkönen, but Giovinazzi really came strong in the second half of 2019. The race battle, however, not so good. Räikkönen 18, Gio 3. Work to be improved on there. Points 43 for Räikkönen, 14 for Gio, and champion position 12 for Räikkönen, 17th for Gio. But as I've mentioned a few times already, that second half of the year, Kimi Räikkönen picked up 12 points, 1 points finish for Kimi Räikkönen in the second half of the year, of course in Brazil. Gio managed 3 and picked up 13 points. So you can see, I mean, of course, we spoke about it already in a couple of these reviews. The midfield was so tight, ebbing and flowing across the entire season. And Alfa Romeo seemed to plateau a little bit mid-season and really dived off the cliff, if you will. A little bit like Haas at the end of the season. And I think Giovinazzi, it was obviously a difficult environment for him to kind of establish himself, I think it's fair to say, with Räikkönen coming in, a big name, but someone he could learn off of, and I think he's definitely done that over the course of the season. So, I would sum up his first season in Formula 1 as adequate. Definitely room for improvement, but I think definitely there's been progression over the course of the season. Definitely the man we have now is a far better driver than we saw in Melbourne. So, I'm confident he can improve again next year. He is a driver that a couple of years back was touted for a future Ferrari drive. I'm not too sure he's going to be able to reach those heights, but yeah, He's only first year in Formula 1, so let's give him a little bit of time. And of course, he is re-signed for Alfa Romeo next year as well, and he is still a Ferrari junior driver, so can't forget that. Rating out of 10. I gave Hulkenberg a 7, and I think Nico's season was better than Gio as a whole. I definitely think that first half of the year is holding me back a little bit, giving Gio a really good score. But I love that progression. I love the fight he came back with in that second half of the year, in races, scoring points, and in qualifying, considering the car really just became a bit of a dog in the second half of the year. I'm going to give him a 6 out of 10. Maybe a little bit harsh, maybe a little bit lenient. I'd love to know your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you for watching. That's the end of our third driver review. Keep tuned over on Instagram for your sneak peek for tomorrow's driver review. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.